Hi, seventh grade. Today we're going to be working on using the oil pastels to practice for our next assignment. So you should all have a pastel kit that looks like this with all of the 25 colors in it. If some of them are a little short or broken in pieces, that's okay because we can still use those successfully. What I do want to make sure is that my colors are clean. So when you're cleaning oil pastels, it's not like washing paint. You don't use any water or soap, just a dry paper towel. So for my first block here, I'm going to be doing a gradation using the color white. So I want to make sure that my white pastel is clean and it's dirty. I can see that there's color left from the last time this kit was used. So I'm going to put the pastel in the paper towel. I'm just going to twist it a couple times. And when I do that, I can see that the dirty gray and black that was on the pastel is now on the paper. And this is a nice clean stick. I think I will use red for my first gradation. And I'm just peeling the paper away so that I can access that color a little bit more. And I can see the red is dirty too. So let me put the red in a different spot on the paper towel. And I'm going to twist until that looks clean. There we go. That looks great. All right, so gradation. So when we're doing a gradation of a color, we're going to start by using a heavy pressure. So that's how hard I am pushing on the paper. And as I get towards the center, I'm going to ease off the pressure until I'm at the end of the box. And I'm just going to barely put down any color there. So just kind of touching the pastel to the box there, a medium pressure, and it gets heavier until the end. Notice I didn't color this in perfectly. That's okay. I'm not trying to perfectly color the box. I'm trying to make a gradation. So now with my clean pastel, I'm going to start on the lighter side and I'm going to swirl this across the page. And I'm using a heavy pressure with the white. So the red went heavy, medium, light. The white pastel I'm swirling and I'm pushing heavy all the way across. So it's a heavy pressure. And I'm blending the pastel as this happens. So now I can start to see a gradation is happening. And as I get to the red there in the end, I'm just going to leave that. So I have from red to dark pink to medium pink to lightest pink. And now my white is really dirty. So before I put that back in the box, I'm going to make sure to take my pastel and just wipe that off. I don't want to end up getting red blended into another area later on. All right, so this is a gradation plus white. The next box we're going to do is going to be a gradation plus gray. So really similar. I'm going to choose a new color. This purple is nice and clean. So I'm going to start again with a heavy pressure on the left, easing off the pressure as I get towards the center of the paper and lightening it up so I'm barely touching the end of that rectangle. Then I'm going to take my gray, wipe that off. And I'm going to put a gradation all the way over using like kind of a medium pressure here. You can do vertical lines or you can swirl it, do a little bit of both. So it starts off pretty gray. And as I get towards the middle, I can see that purple forming. And now the purple showing through more to the end. Now, one reason you might want to use gray to make a gradation is to neutralize or tone down a color. And I could even go back on top of this if I want it to be more purple with a third layer of heavy, medium, and then light pressure. So if I wanted to tone down a color, maybe I was drawing purple flowers in a vase and they had some shadow where the petals overlapped, I would use gray to neutralize and lighten that color and also to create the shadow. If I went over it with a black, it would darken the shadow too much and it would make the petals look fake. Also, if I just use the pure purple, that can make them look artificial as well. So this is now my gradation from darker purple to medium purple to lighter purple, but grayed out, not lightened with white, but toned down with the gray. All right, the next box is going to be a gradation plus black. And because black is the stronger color, I'm actually going to put that down first. So I'll start with a heavy pressure of the black. And then as I get towards the center of the paper, I'm going to ease off that pressure. And then I'm just going to put little bits of black on this side. And I'm going to go on top of the black with the color that I want to darken. I think I'll use a blue for this. So that blue looks fairly clean. Let me just wipe it off a little bit more. And starting with the lighter side, I'm going to swirl in the blue. And I'm using a heavy pressure all the way across here. So really pressing down with that pastel. And again, it's okay if you don't perfectly color in the box. I want to see that you can make the gradation. Not that you can color in a box. We're in middle school. I know you can color in a box. And there you go. So I've got from blue to darker blue to darker blue to darkest blue. So lower my camera a little bit more so we can get a better look at these three gradations that we've just made. And then in the last one, it's going to be a full range. So that means I'm going to use my black, my white, and one color. So I'm going to take the black and the white, and I had cleaned that white. And I'm going to use my darkest green because I like what happens when you mix white with this very dark green. So for the full gradation, I'm going to start with my color. So the color is going to be the pure color green right in the center, and you can use any color you'd like for this. And then it's going to get lighter as it fades out to the sides. So we know what to do. Ease off that pressure. So light, medium, dark, and then I'm going to do the same thing in the opposite direction. Ease off the pressure till it's just a little bit of green at the end. Nope, the lights went out in my classroom. Okay, so on this side, it's going to go light to the color. So I'm going to take my white and I'm going to swirl that in. And I'm doing a heavy pressure all the way across. But when I get to my green, I'm going to stop. So now this part of the box looks like that first one that we did. Then I need that black. So I'll take my piece of black. I've got two pieces of black. And I'm going to darken it to the end here. And because the black is so strong, I'm going to go back over it with some of the green. So I should have a full gradation from darkest green to true green to lighter green to lightest green. And I have to remember now those two colors that I blended with the black, the blue and the green from the last box, I want to wipe those off. Now moving into my other boxes up here, I'm going to be doing a light pressure blend for this. I'm going to choose three colors that I want to blend together. And I'm going to choose the peach, the yellow, and the pink. And I'm going to put a light pressure going in one direction. Then I'm varying the direction. I'll go on top here. So that is blending in layers. So I could put down many light layers to build up and make a new color. I can also use a heavy pressure to accomplish that. So if I take my pink, I think is the darkest of these colors. I put down my pink, then I go in the other direction, pressing heavy. Those two colors start to blend together. I can already feel that the paper can't hold much more of this color. So when you are blending, you can put down a lot of light layers to hold more, or you can put down about 3 heavy layers before the color doesn't want to stick anymore. These two boxes are fun. This is my stippling and my scumbling. So when you are doing stippling, I'm going to choose 3 different blues. You can choose any color you want. I'm making purposeful dots. When I'm putting down the little dots here, I know exactly where they're going to go, and it's not making very much sound. I can always tell when people are stippling too hard because it sounds like woodpeckers in the classroom. If I'm just picking up my oil pastel, a tiny bit off the page, barely a centimeter off the page and putting it back down in purposeful marks, I start to fill in these white spaces and it creates a really beautiful texture. You can use this if you were doing like leaves on a tree in distance, or maybe flowers growing in a field. Instead of drawing every petal, we make the impression that these are leaves or flowers or petals by combining the colors together. So I'm making purposeful little marks, little dots next to each other. You can swirl them in, making little tiny circles, or you can dab them in like I'm doing here. Either way is fine. If you want to lighten them, you can go back over them with white. And that is my stippling. Scumbling is similar to stippling, but it's more like a purposeful scribble. So I can make little S shapes or C shapes or little checks or marks. And this is also a great way to make the foliage on trees in the distance. Or if you were creating a rocky surface, you might want to scumble in some of the colors to create that illusion. So I'm making little scribbles. I'm going to go over this with the lighter green now. This almost starts to feel like a group of leaves on a tree. Maybe I'll take that blue. Do I have a clean spot on that blue? I do. There's a clean spot right there. And that is my scumbling. So it's little scribbles intentionally drawn. We're not just scribbling all over the page. I have a plan as I'm doing this. I know what's going to happen. Down here, we get to use that scratch stick. This is Sgraffito. This is a lot of fun. So I'm going to put down some light colors. I think I'll blend my yellow into my pink, into, let's see, do the peach. And then I'm going to take some orange. And then on top of that, I want to do my black or another dark color. You can do your darkest green or your darkest blue. And I'm going to cover this whole box. This is kind of like scratch paper. Then taking the side of my scratch stick, I'm going to scratch in any kind of design or pattern that I want. And you can use this to add details. Maybe if I was doing a field of wheat, I might put down the darkest color on top of the lightest color and scratch in to create the illusion of grass. Careful, it makes these little crumbles. You want to make sure they don't get spread on your artwork. So you want to wipe those away very carefully. And in my last box, I'm going to make a paper towel blend. I'm going to put my darkest color down first. I'm using 3 colors. And then I'm going to go over this with orange. And I'm combining 3 colors to make a new color that I don't have in my pastel kit. Then taking your paper towel, I'm going to fold it in half and I'm going to roll it like a tube. Now you can see I've already used this paper towel, so it's dirty in some spaces. That's okay. Doesn't matter. I'll just find a clean spot. After I roll it like a tube, I fold it in half. I'm going to fold it in half again. I'm trying to get a firm corner of the paper towel. And then I'm going to take that and blend it in a swirling motion. You can see how nicely that blends the oil pastel. So I like to use the paper towel to blend. If I blend with my finger, it gets really messy. So I'm going to blend with my paper towel, and there we have it. There are a sampling of ways to use oil pastels in our artwork.